To her, Shira. Adina hasn't stopped complaining since you stepped in. Let her. All she does is scold and blame, but she doesn't do anything. She can't keep Zara safe. She can't keep Khalid safe. I can. You need me here.
I've never liked his look.
This is good.
What's that?
My journal. A record of the pain I feel when I think of Ilya.
That's a lot of writing.
Every emotion, every memory, every thought goes into this. Ilya and I went to dinner with you once while you were wearing that shirt. Blue shirts brings out the blues. Once a table for four, now no more.
This program is available on demand for free on MeWatch. Brought to you by Mitsubishi Electric StarMax Air Conditioner.
Ever wondered what would have happened if Anani had chosen to run off with James?
If it were up to you, how would this love quadrangle between Yoke, Ella, Shen, and Matthew play out?
Now is your chance to prove how big of a keen fan you are.
And come up with your own kin storylines.
Take part in the Kin Wattpad fanfic story writing contest
to see your ideas come to life in a special Kin spin-off series. Stand a chance to win exclusive Kin limited edition merchandise. Go to Wattpad for more details.
If Anani and James got together, they would salsa dance every night. Like a this.
Like a these.
Tonight on 5. Hello there, good evening. I'm Otelli Edwards. Here are your top stories on News 5.
Okay, all gone. If you have visible now. No, finish.
Demand for masks jumps in the wake of new rules that make it a must for them to be worn while out. Also in high demand, online grocery services. Companies ramp up operations to keep up with orders. An election unlike any other, South Korea sees a record turnout at the polls as voters cast their ballots during the pandemic. And cooking enough to feed tens of thousands of foreign workers in quarantine or isolation. We go behind the scenes. Demand for masks, both reusable and surgical, is rocketing a day after the government made it compulsory for most people to wear one when outdoors. Some stores ran out of stock a few hours after opening this morning.
Singapore is into the second week of its circuit breaker, and now it's a must to wear your mask whenever you leave the house, regardless of where you're going. Now, previously, it was only compulsory when taking public transport or going to high traffic areas like the mall, the market, or the bank. Now, what this means is that demand for masks is likely to go up. So, today I'm going to visit a few places to see if I can get my hands on any of these masks. Let's go! I start my shopping at a mall in Buena Vista, but it seems I'm a little too late.
Huh? No mask. Finish. All stock. When will it end? My stock something on Saturday.
It's the same situation at the supermarket next door.
When will it be fine? Supposed to be today.
With my search for a mask coming up empty, I decide to try my luck elsewhere. Over the course of 3 hours, I visit 12 pharmacies, supermarkets, and convenience stores in areas like Clementi, One North, and Holland Village. Only one pharmacy still had reusable masks and surgical ones. It's $12.90 for 20 pieces of surgical masks, the same price as this pack of 2 reusable ones. Surgical masks pop up again at my next stop in an unlikely place. This mini mart has stock, but no customers. Have people been buying?
The office people buy. The office people also all now close study circuit breaker. So nobody buy. Before that, so many people buy.
So what are you going to do with the rest of the supply?
Maybe he coming maybe after that. After circuit breaker everything finished, after I can sell it.
I continue on my way, but spot an interesting poster while waiting for a taxi. It's claiming that it offers home delivery for disposable surgical masks and that you only need to pay when you receive it. Now, there is a number on it, so I'm going to see if it checks out. The WhatsApp listing shows a 50-piece pack of surgical masks for $35. It provides same-day delivery and a free bottle of hand sanitizer. Another listing offers a pack of 50 for $25. Both sellers reply to my messages asking for more information, with one even offering to deliver the goods in 45 minutes. I didn't go through with either purchase in the end, so I wasn't able to verify if they were legitimate sellers. It took me a while to find a store that sold masks today, so if you don't have the time, you can always go online. Now, a quick check on online retail sites shows that a box of 50 could set you back between $30 and $40, which is comparable to those sold in brick and mortar stores. But with high demand, there is a chance that you might have to wait a while before you can get your masks.
Online supermarket platforms are ramping up delivery operations to meet the huge surge in orders during the circuit breaker period. Some are hiring more staff to cope, while others have revamped their delivery strategy.
With all the circuit breaker measures in place, demand for grocery deliveries has gone through the roof. Now, I've heard of many cases where people are not able to get delivery slots, so I'm going to try and go online to order some groceries. I went onto 5 different websites, and true enough, I couldn't get a delivery slot on any of them. Several companies say they've seen deliveries spike by at least 3 times. It's why Dairy Farm Singapore, which owns supermarket chains Cold Storage and Giant, has hired more staff for its delivery arm. But customers can still expect to wait up to a week to see their order on their doorstep. Previously, it would take 2 days at most. Redmart has added about 500 more workers to its manpower. It has also tweaked the way it operates by opening up delivery slots for different parts of Singapore on different days.
What this has enabled us to do is to focus our logistics resources on particular areas of Singapore during different days of the week. And this is very important because optimization allows us to serve more customers. We have actually prepared a tool to help customers figure that out. You just need to put in your postal code in our schedule tool, and then you'll be able to see which of the days of the week slots are open for your area.
Additionally, it's also tapping ComfortDelGro's pool of taxi drivers to do deliveries. One analyst says collaborations like these are vital to help retailers cope with sudden surges in demand.
The challenge now is the last mile delivery from the warehouse to the consumers, and that is where we did not have sufficient infrastructure to cope with that. They will have to think, how can they rapidly scale up with this variable resource that is out there? A lot of gig workers, for instance, who may not have work now, are able to contribute to this last mile delivery. If we were to actually leverage on this kind of resources, I think we can cope in the future.
Dr. Lau adds that the COVID-19 pandemic may nudge more people towards online grocery shopping in the long run, but that's provided online retailers can improve the user experience.
In other news, South Korea's ruling party is projected to win a majority in parliament as voters back President Moon Jae-in's strategy to curb the COVID-19 pandemic. Polls have closed and they have seen a record turnout. More than 2/3 of the 44 million eligible voters cast their vote, even those infected with the coronavirus.
Young and old South Koreans went to the polling stations. They stood some distance apart, had their temperatures taken in case they were running a fever. If they were not, they sanitized their hands, put on the disposable plastic gloves, and went in to the polling booth. All eligible voters were allowed to vote, even those with a fever. Except they'll be escorted to this area where a polling booth has been set up outside the main area to allow those with a fever to vote. South Korea is among the first countries with a major COVID-19 outbreak to hold a national election since the global pandemic began.
행복하죠. 아무래도 내 나라 사람 잘 좋은 사람 뽑아 나라 잘 지킬 사람 뽑으니까 좋죠.
사람이 많으니까 줄 서는 게 당연한 거고 그다음에 장갑 서로 건강을 위해서 일단은 장갑을 끼고 하는 게 좋았어요.
Even those who were under self-quarantine were not left out. After official voting ended at 6 p.m. local time, authorities opened a window of about 1 hour and a half for this group of voters to cast their ballots. They had to walk or drive themselves to the voting stations because they were not allowed to take public transport. In this election, the voting age has been lowered to 18 years old from 19 previously. It's widely expected that the position of President Moon Jae-in's ruling party will be strengthened in this election. It currently has 121 seats in the 300-member parliament. President Moon's approval ratings have recently shot up because the majority of South Koreans believe his administration has done well in handling the coronavirus outbreak. But the election is also seen as a vote of confidence on his administration's ability to steer the economy through the current crisis.
지금 그 가게가 한 군데 건너 하나씩 다 비어 있고요. 소상인들 지금 못 산다고 지금 그래요.
저는 청년이다 보니까 청년한테 좋은 정책이면 좋고 그리고 이제 너무 허황된 정책이 아닌 현실적인 정책들을 많이 하신 분들을 선택하고 있습니다.
The lack of a single majority in parliament has hampered Mr. Moon's reform agenda in the first half of his single-term 5-year presidency, with his pledge to tackle the country's worsening wealth inequality making little headway. Will President Moon Jae-in serve his remaining time in office as a lame duck leader, or will he be able to push ahead with his policies and reforms as he promised in 2017? Well, President Moon and South Koreans will find out after the official figures are released on Thursday. Lim Yeon-suk, CNA, Seoul.
Well, back home, there was internet disruption today for some StarHub users. Those in the north and northeastern regions experienced downtime for about 20 minutes due to a network equipment fault. After that was resolved, other users complained that their connectivity was also down. StarHub says the later incident was due to a network issue and that there is no evidence of a cyber attack. The telco has since restored all fiber broadband services for consumers. And still ahead on News 5, a president under fire. Donald Trump criticized for freezing funding to the World Health Organization. And Malaysia cancels key school exams as it continues its coronavirus lockdown.
My Mitsubishi Electric StarMax aircon saves me energy and money. It's easy to clean and is so quiet.
Shokubutsu presents Hadakara, a moisture-binding body wash, first developed in Japan. Moisturizing ingredients remain on your skin even after rinsing, leaving it soft and smooth. Hadakara, the unique beauty of moisture-binding softness.
MediaCorp brings you One World Together at Home, a global event to celebrate the frontliners with the biggest stars from around the world. Don't miss this historic event, live on MediaCorp, Sunday 19th April, 8 a.m. You can also catch more performances on the digital special, live from 2 a.m.
越来越多的患者同时有敏感性牙齿及牙龈问题，这两个问题会互相影响，一定要同时处理。 我会推荐新的舒酸定专业抗敏护龈牙膏。一条牙膏有2大功效，同时处理敏感性牙齿及牙龈问题。
What's the easiest way to win $20,000 in 2020?
It's with Class 95. Spin and win. Just listen for the song of the hour every weekday.
Be the first to call in.
And you qualify for the Sure Win Spin on Fridays. You are caller number 1. Spin your way to any of the 9 cash prizes on Class 95's wheel,
including the grand prize of $20,000.
Class 95. Spin and win 20 in 20.
Listen to Class 85 on weekdays to play. Class 95.
Welcome back to News 5. China has urged the U.S. to fulfill its obligations to the World Health Organization. This after Washington halted funding to the WHO, accusing it of mishandling the coronavirus pandemic. The decision has been met with much dismay.
美方这一决定将削弱世卫组织的能力，损害国际抗疫合作。受影响的是包括美国在内的世界各国。 特别是能力脆弱的国家，我们敦促美方切实履行自身的职责和义务，支持世卫组织领导国际抗疫行动。
The United Nations chief has also weighed in. Antonio Guterres says now is a time for unity in the global battle against COVID-19 rather than to cut the WHO's resources. Well, the U.S. is the biggest contributor to the WHO. It contributed roughly 15% of its budget last year. That's more than $400 million. But President Donald Trump has accused the agency of mismanagement and of covering up the spread of the coronavirus. Malaysia has cancelled this year's primary school leaving examination as well as a major streaming exam for lower sex school students. Authorities say they will introduce a new assessment method that's not solely focused on academic performance. Several other exams have also been postponed to the first quarter of next year. Schools have been closed since mid-March and the country is under a partial lockdown till 28th of April. Another 85 COVID-19 cases have been recorded. The first time in a month, Malaysia has recorded fewer than 100 infections within a 24-hour period. Private home sales have plunged by nearly a third as the coronavirus disrupts the market. Excluding executive condominiums, 660 homes were moved last month. That's a rough 32% fall from the month before and a 37% dive compared to the same period last year. New launches also dried up with fewer than 15 units sold in total. The bulk of sales came from existing projects like Jadescape and Treasure at Tampines. Even so, all in, the number of units sold for the first quarter of this year is still higher than the same period last year. But analysts are cautious.
For Q1 to clock just above 2,200 units, I think that's quite a good result. However, the sustainability of these numbers would be basically put on hold because I think going forward, the social distancing, the working from home, and the non-essential closures, I think that will basically put a deterrent to the numbers, and we still expect some volume to come in, provided that show flats are likely to open after the circuit breaker period.
About 2.65 million voters are eligible to cast their ballot in the next general election. This is according to the Elections Department. After certifying the updated voter rolls, which are now open for public inspection, there is an increase of more than 190,000 voters compared to the 2015 election. Eligible voters can check their particulars through ELD's website or the SingPass mobile app. Singaporeans whose names were removed because they didn't vote at a previous election can apply to have them restored. They are encouraged to do so early so that applications will not be processed 3 days after the writ of election is issued. Those living overseas may also register as voters at designated Singapore overseas missions. Each day, the Manpower Ministry works with caterers to provide around 180,000 meals to foreign workers who have been quarantined due to COVID-19. It's part of the government's efforts to improve their living conditions, which have come under the spotlight since the number of infections began surging in the dormitories. We went behind the scenes to see what it's like feeding 60,000 people.
You plan the menu, source for raw ingredients, dice the meat and vegetables, and start cooking. While this might sound like a regular day, one assigned caterer, Sets, says it's preparing a lot more rice than it's used to. The company usually uses 4 huge ovens to cook the rice. Now it's increased to 12. This is on top of its automation line, which normally caters for airline meals.
For the workers, the rice is very important because the job they are doing require a lot of energy. We are giving them 400 grams of rice for lunch and 400 grams of rice per dinner. Behind me, now you can see we have the rice line, which can produce approximately 600 kg of rice per hour. But of course, it's not sufficient to provide the quantity of rice required per day. So we had to bring some oven to be able to assist in the production.
Chef Lee Bihan says airline meals are usually cooked a day before. But for the workers, the food is sent out immediately after it's ready. Although Sets didn't have to make any manpower adjustments, another company, Catering Solutions, has ramped up its capacity.
We had to increase our manpower by another 20% to meet the current demand. It was quite challenging in the beginning because we had to give them the induction to ensure that they have the proper knowledge when they're dealing with food. But we are getting successful at it. We have to procure our packing materials, and sudden increase in demand has caused a shortage as well. So we are working together with our suppliers to ensure that we have got enough supplies.
The company's current team comprises Singapore Airlines crew members and staff from other restaurants not operating during the circuit breaker period. Preparing large numbers of bento boxes within a short time is also something new for the Neo Group, famous for its buffets. Its challenge is not the mass cooking, but packing of the individual meals instead.
We activated our subsidiaries to manage our capacity and at the same time ensure we provide our usual high quality. Currently, we are operating at 50% and is rendering full support to the government agency to assist further. Especially during our peak season like Christmas and Chinese New Year, we always activate our office staff like from finance, from sales, even from HR. We have been involving them. Actually, they have went through food hygiene safety course. Yeah, so they are all well trained. Yeah, to help out in the kitchen and sometimes even delivery.
The caterers say they have created menus specially suited to the taste buds of the workers, especially after several tweaks to make the Bangladeshi and Chinese meals more authentic. And in the case of Neo Group, the additional hands will ensure these bento boxes are delivered to the dormitories on time.
And coming up next on News 5, thousands of firms to receive wage subsidies from today. And schools zoom in on new cybersecurity measures after breaches on a video conferencing app.
Weather report brought to you by Mitsubishi Electric.
I'm Kirsty Galloway, a mixed martial artist. I'm on a thrilling sandy weekend getaway at Moina, Vietnam.
I think I'll turn his head away from me.
We are going to do dune bathing.
I do not want to fall down there. I'm so nervous right now. You a good racer? Number one is now or never. Okay.
This weekend, Season 2, tonight, 9:30 p.m. on 5.
If you ignore sensitive teeth, it probably can get worse. When tiny holes in the dentine are exposed, the nerves inside your tooth become vulnerable. I highly recommend Sensodyne. It is a special formula that relieves teeth sensitivity.
Is Lucy in the train already? Yes, she's on the train now. You mean Lucy is in the train? She's inside, right? She's on the train. Wrong to say she's in the train. What do you mean? She's in the train, right? Let's connect. Let's speak good English.
Painful, inflamed sore throat? Reach for Difflam lozenges. They relieve the pain and swelling and help fight throat infection. Don't let a sore throat spoil your day. Reach for Difflam anti-inflammatory antibacterial lozenges.
Welcome back. More than 140,000 employers will begin receiving the first payouts under the Job Support Scheme from today. The payouts total more than $7 billion and will help cover the wages of more than 1.9 million local workers. Under the scheme, the government will co-fund the first $4,600 of monthly wages for each local employee for 9 months. This first payout is based on wages paid between October and December last year, with support at 75% for all sectors. This will be adjusted for the subsequent payouts in July and October. A 75% wage subsidy will still apply to firms in aviation and tourism, but this will be adjusted to 50% for those in food services and 25% for all other sectors. Research agency A-Star has designed a face mask that you can make yourself. It's been tested to be almost as good as surgical ones in filtering out bacteria and particles. Wearing a mask outside your home is now a must as part of stricter measures to curb the spread of COVID-19.
Masks have become ubiquitous as the COVID-19 pandemic escalates, and they can play a part in reducing transmission, as this experiment designed by A-Star and healthcare professionals shows. Using cameras and laser beams, droplets as small as 1/10 the width of a hair were seen to travel as far as 2 or 3 meters and linger for at least a minute when a person coughed or sneezed without wearing a mask. Put one on, however, and the picture is vastly different.
The videos were taken in a dark room, and the area outside of the wearer was lighted up through the help of parabolic mirrors, and this shows up all the water droplets that are in the air. And we took the video with high-speed cameras. It shows quite clearly that when the wearer wears the mask, at least droplets of a certain size could not be detected anymore.
But droplets can still escape if the mask isn't worn properly or is ill-fitting.
It is very, very critical in finding the right size, and making sure you tie it properly and so forth. Because the whole purpose of wearing a mask is to prevent droplets, from spilling out.
So researchers have come up with a DIY method to make one yourself with just the right fit. You just need materials like a cotton shirt and masking tape. No sewing skills required.
Scientists from A-Star say that masks like this, even though they're handmade, are still effective. And that's because they have 3 things. An absorbent inner layer closest to where your mouth is, a filtration layer that's also found in surgical masks, and on the outside, a waterproof layer that stops droplets from permeating the material.
The homemade mask went through about a month of testing. This included a pressure drop test to find out how breathable the material is, as well as particle and bacterial filtration tests.
We also had it put through a third-party testing
and the properties were actually found to be really close to that of surgical masks.
The researchers say the mask can be reused at least 10 times if disassembled and thoroughly washed, and with the filtration layer replaced.
96% of students from primary to junior college levels took part in full home-based learning last week, with the rest largely on medical leave. The Education Ministry has given this update a week after the rollout of full HBL, which has also seen 2 breaches linked to video conferencing tool Zoom. But schools and the platform itself say they're stepping up security.
This makes sharing content seamless.
The number of users on video conferencing platform Zoom has jumped to 200 million daily, up from 10 million before the COVID-19 pandemic, as more people are staying home. Over 90,000 schools around the world, including those in Singapore, are also using it to conduct classes. But breaches have been reported, with the Education Ministry even filing police reports on 2 incidents.
CNA understands one of the breaches involved hackers hijacking live streaming of a lesson and showing obscene images to students. Schools suspended the use of the platform, but on Monday, MOE announced that they will progressively resume the use of Zoom. It says apart from the few early incidents related to video conferencing with Zoom, there have been no further issues.
It's impossible for anybody in the industry to ensure 100% security. What we can do is make the security features more enhanced. In our collaboration with the Ministry of Education here in Singapore, they centralize and manage all of the users under one console approach. And we can ensure that people set things like passwords by default. They don't have a choice. We can also make sure that other elements like waiting room features are automatically administered and enabled.
Tertiary institutions say they are also putting more emphasis on cybersecurity. At the Singapore Institute of Technology, classes have gone fully online, using platforms like a learning management system and Zoom. It didn't stop using the platform despite the breaches because it says it adheres strictly to protocols.
For example, the use of password, setting of the waiting room, ensuring that you're not sharing via social media of the invites and so on. So by following those protocols very closely, it is possible to still use Zoom. And at the same time, it was really educating students about letting us know if there are issues or things that look suspicious as well.
And while school's out at Singapore Polytechnic, it's expecting the number of students using its learning platform SmartBook to jump by 9% when classes resume next week. Over 2,100 students used it last year. But students and even lecturers have had to make some adjustments during this period.
I think for ourselves, we need to adapt during this home-based learning period. So for myself, it's more about learning new tools and adapting to this teaching online.
Full home-based learning will continue till the 4th of May. MOE says schools will plan out the rest of the academic year to make up for any learning experiences, like practical lessons that couldn't take place, such as by conducting supplementary classes if needed.
And just before we go, here's a quick recap of our top headlines. Demand for masks is soaring in the wake of new rules that make it a must for them to be worn while out. And online supermarket platforms are ramping up delivery operations to meet a huge surge in orders during this period. Health authorities have not issued the latest update on the local COVID-19 situation, but as of yesterday, Singapore has confirmed a total of 3,252 cases. And that wraps up News 5. Thanks for watching. Good night.
This program is available on demand for free on MeWatch.
Tonight on 5.
Parental guidance is advised for the following program.